You're welcome once again to this channel. In today's discussion, we'll be looking at plane geometry, circle theorem, and this is one of the topics students have challenges with. But in a matter of fact, it's very easy. So today, follow as I give you some simple techniques and tips to understand circle theorem. Okay, so to understand circle theorem, we need just some 4 keywords, and that will help you to understand the concept very well. So we are going to look at that of item is circle, die, triangle, and chord. You circle. We are looking at these are the key things you need in for you to be able to solve questions on a circle theorem. Remember, circle, die, circle and die. If you try a chord, if you try a chord. Okay, so circle and die if you try a chord. Circle, die if you try a chord. So if you know these 4 things, circle theorem becomes easy for you. Most of the time we just jump into circle theorem without getting these 4 concepts very well, and then we have challenges. So circle, die, try a chord. So the first thing we want to tackle, we tackle a circle. There are some basic things you should know about circle. Then the die here will represent that of diameter, the triangle, and then the chord. And then if you get to know all these 4 things, solving questions on a circle theorem become easy for you. But then let's first of all look at a circle. If this is a circle, we know the circle here, we have the center. So sometimes they can represent it by O. And then if you have any line to this place, any line from the center to the circumference becomes our radius. Good. Now what we are focused here, that any line that you draw from the two radius, this is a radius, and that radius will give you a diameter. So diameter, anything that divides the center circle into 2. Now let's quickly start with the circle. What do you have to understand about the circle for you to be able to understand circle theorem very well? The first thing you want to know is that the angle in a circle add up to what? 360 degrees. So the total angle in a circle is 360 degrees. And so sometimes if I give you a figure like this, then I ask you to find x, while this is 300 degrees. How do you find x? The first key thing you want to know is that we know that the total angle in a circle, so this one will give you a circle. So the total angle there should give you 360. So we are going to do 300 degrees plus x should sum up to what? Should sum up to that of 360 degrees. So x is going to give you 360 degrees minus 300. So x is equal to what? 60 degrees. And that's how you do this. Or they can still give you an example that if we have an angle here this way, and then x, you ask you to find x. What do you do in this particular scenario? And they've given this particular place to be maybe 100. How do you find x? We know that the total angle, this will give you a circle at a point in the circle. Total angle in the circle is what? Okay, is 360. So we are going to have x plus 100 should give you 360. And we know that x will give you 360 degrees minus 100 degrees. So x is going to give you 260 degrees. And so if you understand this, it becomes very easy for you. Let's say for instance, they give you a question like this. Then you have, they can put it, and then we are asked to find the value of x if here is 330 degrees. Now what do you have to do? It's the same thing. Don't look at the whole thing. Now this is going to give you a circle here, and so we know that the total angle in the circle add up to what? Add up to 360. So we are going to have 330 degree plus what? X should give you 360 degree. So we are going to have x will give you 360 degree minus 330 degree. So you're going to have x to be equal to what? 30 degree, and that's it. So we've understood that of circle. So the next thing we want to look at is the diameter. We'll look at the diameter and see how we can apply that one to also solve questions under the circle theorem. Alright, so we look at that with the diameter. We know that if this is a circle, if this is a circle, we have a circle this way. We said any line, remember diameter, this is the center, that divide. So diameter, remember divide. Anytime remember diameter, remember divide. So let's say diameter, divide, right? So any line that divides the circle into two from the center. So any line that passes the center, divide the circle into two. So this is not a diameter, this is going to be a chord. So this is a diameter now because we have two radius here, and this is the center. Any line that passes through the center and divide the circle into two becomes a diameter. Now what you have to understand under the diameter, what you want to understand under the diameter is that, remember, somebody wants to die at 90. Remember, die at 90. So that divide, if I remember diameter, what comes to mind, what should come to your mind is that diameter is what? Die at 90. Don't die at 90. Die at 90. So if you remember die at 90, it makes it easy for you. That if we have anything that divide diameter, divide the circle into two, from the two ends, anywhere these two ends will go and meet, they will die at 90. So if this one comes here and this also meets here, the moment they meet here, the angle where the 2 points will meet, two lines will meet, will give you 90 degrees. So assuming they also start from here, this point, the two extremes, the two ends, it starts from here and then it also meets it here. Here also be 90 degrees. So you are saying wherever the diameter meets on the circumference, it gives you an angle of 90 degrees. We can still bring it down. If this point and this point, this is the diameter, this point comes here, this point comes here, all happen, it will give you 90 degrees. So that's one thing you also want to understand under this particular concept. So for instance, they give you a circle, this way, and then we have this. They tell you find the value of x. Now if this is the center O, we know automatically this is going to be about 90 degrees. Why? Because this is the diameter, and anywhere these two diameters will meet, that will give you 90 degrees. So this is going to give us what? The x will give us what? 90 degrees. And so that's one thing you also want to understand under this concept. So we have tackled that of the diameter. Now let's look at the triangle. For the triangle, what we have to know is that we know the first you want to know triangle. So if you have that of a triangle, you have a triangle this way. There are two key things I would like you to know. Remember this. Now we have, first of all, if I remember, we have isosceles triangle. So if you say isosceles triangle, remember isosceles triangle, two sides are equal. You say iso means same, so two sides are equal. So isosceles triangle here, isosceles triangle, it means two sides are equal. Isosceles triangle, two sides are equal, in the sense that the first you want to know is that anytime we have that of a circle, we have a circle this way, and this is the center. We can have a triangle in the circle. Now the moment the triangle is formed from the center, it becomes an isosceles triangle. Don't forget this. The moment the triangle is formed at the center, it becomes what? An isosceles triangle. Let me reiterate what I'm trying to say. That if I have, we are going to look at two things, right? The first thing I want to know is that, remember this one, isosceles triangle, or can I say center is equal? Triangle at the center is equal. Remember, isosceles triangle, remember center is what? Side are the same. Since center equals to equal, so remember equal sides. Stroke C, or you can say C, same side. Good. So look at it this way. Now if I have a circle this way, what I'm trying to say is that now if there is a center here, the moment you have a triangle in this center, the moment you have a triangle forming at the center, automatically the triangle become an isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle. Now if this is an isosceles triangle, what happens is that, listen attentively, this is isosceles triangle. It means that automatically the two sides that are not from the center are the same. One, that's what you have to know. So if this is the center here, so if here is A, here will also be A. If you have decided to put here to be X, here will also be X. If you have decided, if this angle is 60 degrees, here also was 60 degrees. So that's isosceles triangle. The two sides are the same. So isosceles, they are the same. From the center, they are the same. So first, they can give you, if they ask you to find this particular angle, if here is 20 degrees, what will it be? It will also be 20 degrees because they are an isosceles triangle. If here is x, so if you are trying to solve question, you put x here. You can also put x here and you get your value. Is that okay? So that is one thing you want to know about this particular one. And then the second thing we like to know is that the total angle in a triangle add up to total angle in a triangle, total angle in a triangle, add up to what? 180 degrees. 180 degrees. So for instance, if I have a triangle this way, and I say here is if here is 50, and then here is 60, and I said you find this side. What you have to know is that if I add everything, all the angle in this triangle would add up to 180. So I say x plus 50 degrees plus 60 degrees should give you what? 180 degrees. So you make exercise. So x plus 110 will give you what? 180 degrees. So you can say s equals to what? S equals to what? 180 minus 110 degrees. So therefore s will give you 70 degrees. And so that is it about the triangle. So we're able to tackle that of the circle, the diameter, and then that of the triangle. Now the next thing we want to look at, so that we can simplify or finish up with the circle theorem, is that of the chord. Now let me brief you a little bit about that of the circle, and then let's combine what we have done so far. Alright, so let's recap on what you have done so far. So this is a question to find the value of x and y. One thing you want to know is that, remember circle, die, triangle, and this thing. First of all, there's a circle here. Have you seen a circle here? So I have to tackle it. So what can I use? We know that total angle here should give you 360. So I can say that y plus 300 should give you what? 360 degrees. So y will give you 360 degree minus 300. So my value of y is what? 360. It's going to give you 60 degrees. So you know here it's going to be 60 degrees. Now here we have, so that there's no, so I'm going to triangle. Good. There's a triangle in this one, and this particular triangle is ranging from the center. So I'll know that this is an isosceles triangle. So if here is x, what should happen here? Here should also be x. You put it there, right? If this side is x, here is going to be x. So now after you know that one, the total angle in a triangle add up to what? 180. So I'm going to say x plus this angle we have got here, which is 60 degrees, should give us what? 180 degrees. So you're going to have 2x plus 60 degrees should give you what? 180 degrees. So 2x will give you what? 180 degrees minus 60 degrees. So 2x will give you what? 120 degrees. So we divide by 2, So x is also giving 60 degrees. Have you seen how we apply this? Circle, die, try a chord. Circle, die, try a chord. And that's it. So let's now look at how to, there are basic things you have to know about the chord as well. And then we can solve questions on the circle theorem as well. Alright, so now we need to tackle that of the chord now. Now, what you have to know about the chord, I have made it so simple this way, that we should know, say, let's look at the center and look at opposite. While this one is the same, this is opposite. So the nearest in meaning, then opposite in meaning in English language, right? And this is the center. So what you have to get here is that now, same, center, opposite. Now, if it's the same, you're looking at chord. So before I even tackle this one, I want to know what the chord is. Now, if I should draw a circle, this way, now you realize that if this is a circle, what happening is that now if this is a center, whatever line that join any part of the circumference, this is called circumference, that becomes a chord. So the chord is any line that will join, not necessarily the center. All these lines I'm drawing are chord, but the moment it passes through the center, it becomes diameter. So we can choose any of the lines here. So any of this line here is chord. Now, if you have a chord this way, this is a chord. I can put some at the center, the top two. It also becomes a chord. It can be drawn this way. It's also a chord. The moment it's touching two parts of the circumference, and it's only passing through the center, it becomes a chord. So we know a chord now. Now I say if this chord are the same, so the chord, if the chord is the same, center opposite. So what I want to remember is that center is what? The angles are the same. So if you remember center angles are what? Angles are what? Same. Then if the chord are the same, the angles are the same. If it's at the center means also, right? So it's twice. So angle is what? Twice. The opposite, remember opposite is what? 180 degrees. If you remember this one, you are good to go with chord. So let's look at the chord now. So how would they draw chord that are the same? Look at it. I'm going to give you 3 scenarios here. First of all, let's say this circle here. If this is a circle, the moment we have, then this is the center. This line here becomes a chord. So we are saying that if this chord is going to form, anywhere this chord will form an angle at the circumference, the angle should be the same. That's one thing we want to know. Good. So let's say this chord here goes to form, meet at this point, and they form an angle here. The same chord here comes to this side and forms an angle here. What if the same chord here comes to this particular side and form the same angle? So because same here, if they are all moving to the same direction, the angles are the same. If the same chord going to the same direction, the angles are the same. I hope you've gotten that right. So if here is 20 degrees, here will also be what? 20 degrees. Here will also be 20 degrees. So if here is A, let's say here is B, here is C, we are going to say that A should be equal to B, should be equal to C. So basically, if you have the same chord, that's the key thing you want to know. The same chord, wherever they go and form an angle at the same direction, the angles are the same. Have you seen it? So sometimes instead of telling the same chord, they can trick you this way. Now let's say number 2, if we have the circle this way, and then I do something like this, I probably do something like this, then I do something like this. The moment I do this indication, this line here, it means they are the same chord, similar to this one. Here we just draw one line, they are the same. The moment they put this line here, it means they are the same chord. So wherever they are going to form an angle, the angles will be the same because it's the same chord and they are going to the same direction. So if here is 20 degrees, here also be 20 degrees. If here is 50 degrees, here also be 50 degrees. So let's say if here is A and here is B, we are going to say A the same as B. If here is 90 degrees, here is also going to be 90 degrees. Why? Because they are the same chord. Now guess this one, guess this last one and the same principle. What if they draw something like this for you, and then this is the center, and we have one chord coming to the center, we have another chord coming to the center. What do you think? The same chord, right? So the moment they are the same chord, what did I say? The same chord. If they are the same chord, the angles will be the same. So wherever they are going to meet, the angles will be the same. So if here, let's say A and B, if A is equal to B, if here is 50 degrees, here also be 50 degrees. If here is 40 degrees, here also be 40 degrees. Because they are the same chord, can you see it? The same chord going to meet at a point in the same direction. So that's one thing you want to know about this particular one. The next one, what you have to know is that center. When I talk of center, what I mean, if you have a circle this way, and we're having a chord, let's say the same chord, one goes to the center and one goes to the circumference. The one going to the center, I say, is the bosu. So that one is going to take twice. So for instance, if this is the center and we are the same chord, I've decided to go to the center and you have decided to go to the circumference. So wherever you go to the circumference, whatever number you take, I'll take twice. So if we have A here, you multiply A times 2, then you get the center one. So here is going to give you 2A. If here is 40 degrees times 2, here is going to be 80 degrees. Is that okay? So that is basically about the center. If A is 40, this particular angle here will be twice. So the angle, even though we are the same chord, we are not all going to the circumference. Assuming it's going to the circumference, assuming I take a line like this, then here will also be what? 40 degrees, because we are all going to the circumference and we are the same chord. But even though we are the same chord, I'm coming to the center and you are going to the circumference. So I'm going to take 20 times 2 of what you take. So that's it about this particular one. Good. So we remember the 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the last one under the chord is that opposite. Remember, opposite is 180 degrees. When we say opposite, somebody is standing here and you are standing at the other end, or somebody is standing here and you are standing here. That is opposite, right? So remember a straight line to join the opposite, which is going to give 180. Good. So with this particular one, what we have to know is that, now look at this. If we are having the same chord, let's do the center, and one goes to the center here, and then we have one here this way. Now if we have something like this, what happens is that, you see, this is opposite to this one, and this is also opposite to this one. There are two things we want to know here. Let's say A, and let me say B and C. A and B, they are all going to the same, pointing upwards, right? Then C here is giving what? It's pointing downwards. The angle is forming downwards. So I tell my students, remember north and south. North and south principle means north plus south give you 180 degrees. If you draw a globe and draw north and south, it's 180 degrees. So what you have to do is that this particular one, the opposite one, add up to 180. So look at the extreme. So I can say A plus C should add up to what? 180 degrees. That if A is 100, then C will be 180 degrees. Then this particular one I want to listen to. If I'm looking at the opposite of the center to this one, if I'm using the center as the opposite, then write B over 2 plus C should be what? 180 degrees. Look at the difference. The one going in the sense that you know that anytime here is 50, here is going to be times 2. So we are saying if you're looking at the opposite of the two ends, will give you A plus C, give you 180 degrees. But if you're using the center as the opposite, then you are going to have, you divide the center into 2 and add it to give you 180. So this all about the chord. Remember, same, center, opposite. Now in the next video we will be looking at how to use all this to start solving questions, and then we move on to how to find out of the tangent of a circle. So thanks for following up to this time. Do have a nice time. Don't forget to subscribe and keep learning. All the best.